What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So it's Arrow Day, and you know what that means. We gotta check out the new episode. We gotta go through it, break it down, do all that stuff. Once again, guys, you know the drill. It's spoilers time. So if you haven't seen this episode, and I suggest you do watch it because it's actually pretty darn good. Go watch the episode, then come on back. You know, hit that subscribe button, then come on back. That way, you guys will know where it is. You'll know exactly where it is. It'll be right here. All right. Okay, so hitting the spoilers now. All right. So fighting fire with fire. Whoo! That was an episode. That was an episode, especially after the disappointment of Flash this week. I was actually really keen on having I was hoping Arrow would have a good episode this week, and it delivered. I think it really did. And all y'all guys, you even had me convinced. You even had me convinced that Adrian Chase was vigilante. And I admit, the whole show has said that Adrian was vigilante. Like he was, and they, all the way up to his reveal, was all saying like, oh, he's vigilante. Like he'd disappear, then he would, then Vigilante would show up. Then, when Vigilante leaves evidence behind, he goes and takes the evidence away from Dinah. But then the fight on the roof with Prometheus and Vigilante, and Prometheus just wrecks house with him. Like he's like nothing to him. And turns out, Mr. DA, that everyone and their mother thought was Vigilante, including my own mother, because she's really into Arrow too, thought was Vigilante, turns out to be Prometheus. So there goes my Al Ghul theory out the door. I still think he's been trained by Al Ghul's. I think it's Talia, but I was kind of hoping Raz would come back, but Adrian being Prometheus is a little interesting. It's interesting. I do think they could have done something bigger with it, like bring Raz back or bring, something like that. But they put Adrian as, front, front focus. Like, this is our villain now. This is who he is. This is Adrian. He's going to be that. And I think, they did a fantastic job with the misdirect in this episode. They really did. Like, the limousine scene where, Vigilante basically rips the limousine apart. Because just before, like, thing goes off to deal with stuff, and then, Vigilante shows up, and then, he, obviously he, gets the evidence from Dinah and stuff. They did a very good job at the misdirect. Very good job. I was a little like, wow, okay, you guys played us around a bit. And I mean, they spent legit majority of this season like convincing us that Adrian was Vigilante. Turns out he's not. So it's gonna be interesting to see who Vigilante is. Who's Vigilante? What's his story? Where's he come in? By the way, I really like his visor. I think his visor's sweet. It's very. I kind of wish like Deathstrokes was like that. A little disappointed that Deathstrokes wasn't more similar to that. But I like it. I like it a lot. I think Vigilante looks very cool. Very cool. But yeah, very big a very big reveal. And what do I think about? I think, like I said, I was a little let down because I was kind of hoping it to have a more direct line to the Al Ghul's. I still think Talia trained him, and I still think Talia might be guiding him to do it. Like maybe using Prometheus to get back at Oliver, or to make Oliver become something. Because that is always Talia's, character, right? Always wants to make these heroes see her side of things and to become part of her, like, assassins and things like that. That's like her main objective with Batman, is to get him to admit who he is and come and be with her and do the assassin's way, essentially. So I still think Talia's using him. And just the way, because Adrian is not, like, he is a big character in this season, but he's still not that guy. I'm still wondering if he's being used. I'm still waiting for, like, Talia to show up or someone else and then get like, yeah, okay, you're finished now. Bye-bye. And like, what? And then he gets killed or something like that. But, very interesting. Very interesting. So obviously the big thing with this episode was the impeachment stuff with obviously Oliver, basically Prometheus letting loose that, they covered up the Green Arrow killing the detective. And so, basically the council's like, yo, we don't want you as mayor anymore, sort of thing. And they're trying to impeach him. And they go through the trials and stuff. And, Oliver can't really do anything. And Oliver didn't really do too much in this episode because he was just stuck doing that. He couldn't do much. And of course, like, everyone's trying to convince him, like, hey, we could always use, like, politics to deal with this problem. Like, politics to get that vote. And that's Thea. Like, Thea was, again, she's very much dark side at this point. Very much dark side. Like, she's very okay with using, like, Felicity's hacking to do this. And Felicity is, like, all about it. She's like, yep, okay, we'll ruin this guy's life. Okay, we'll ruin her life too. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah, obviously they go through all those proceedings. And then kind of to get out of it, to allow him to keep the mayoral like, title and, be the mayor still, he puts Green Arrow under the bus. Throws Green Arrow under the bus. Literally, like, now Green Arrow is public enemy number 1. Calls him a cop killer. Calls him a threat to the city. He failed the city. All this stuff. Throws Green Arrow under the bus to get out of, essentially, Prometheus's trap. And probably obviously Adrian kind of wanted this, I think. Like, make it so that the city hates, everything he's built as Green Arrow is now down the toilet. Like, it's going to take a lot to get Green Arrow to become the hero again. And, like, Green Arrow does this a lot in the comics too. Like, he's gone up and down in public opinion and things like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they resolve it. Like, maybe it'll be a very public fight between him and Prometheus. And that might, clean everything up. But he still did kill a cop. So you can't get around that. They're going to have to accept it. And I mean, like, Thea even legit came up with a plan to, like, besmirch the dead cop and make it look like, oh, Green Arrow was just killing, like Detective Malloy, I think his name is, it's Felicity's boyfriend, was, like, working with Prometheus or something like that. I think that's what she was planning. And, like, Green Arrow killed a corrupt cop. This guy is dead. And Thea didn't bat an eyelid once at it. Did not bat an eyelid once at it. Kind of thought, like, well, why is this not a plan? Again, Thea going real dark side. Obviously that stuff gets rectified in the end, but yeah, so Green Arrow, public enemy number 1 again. Very, I didn't expect them to do that. I was, honestly, when he went to, do the public, announcement and stuff like that, I thought he was going to out himself, like, as the Green Arrow. I was like, he's not going to unmask himself, is he? Like, legit? Like, he's going to say who he is. He didn't know. Technically threw himself under the bus, but hey, it was a way to get out of it. Yeah, obviously we didn't see much Green Arrow in this thing at all, really. It was all the team. Mr. Terrific finding his T-spheres, which was very cool. Like, finally getting to use them. I'm so glad that they're allowing him to have his technology now. Allowing him to use that goddamn mind of his and do it. I wasn't very much this episode made me look at Mr. Terrific very differently. I went and like looked him up, like saw who he is and stuff like that, and what his character is. And I'm so glad that like he's going that way now, and he's got the T-spheres and stuff, and he was so proud of them, and like it just tracked where Vigilante was. Okay, so it's a GPS too. I was a little disappointed that all they were like flash grenades. Hopefully they, make them a little bit more, kind of T-sphere-like, actual offense and defense, like with shields, and maybe like one goes and like can blast people or something like that. It was very cool to see. It was very cool to see. I'm glad Curtis is getting to use his mind a lot more now, because he ain't a fighter. He ain't a fighter. He can throw a punch or two, but he can't fight anyone to save his life, really. And it was a little sad to see that his boyfriend's divorcing him, or his husband, I should say, sorry, is divorcing him. That's a little sad. It really is. And he was so happy. He was so happy that he was, maybe getting back together with him. But oh well, that's unfortunately that is generally the cost of being a hero, is that you don't really get the greatest love life in the world, unless you're like Superman or Flash. Not many of them get the greatest love life in the world. What else was there? Obviously the team fighting Vigilante. Vigilante kind of owned them. Really did. All they did was delay him enough, and then obviously Curtis with the flashbang T-spheres basically distracted enough to get him out. Dinah had him pretty much done dead to rights, but then kind of let her guard down, which was a little silly, and got tripped up with the thing. I want to see her fight more. I really do. I want to see her fighting more. I don't like how she's just like getting caught too much. And when Ollie was in the doctor's office getting checked out for his concussion and stuff, and she sort of like recommended him having, someone to talk to, like a friend, or, he's like, are you prescribing me a girlfriend or something? And like, I was like, cue Dinah. Please, Dinah, walk in. It's like, do something. Come on. Be that person. And no, she was nowhere to be found. But I was kind of hoping that. I was like, set it up. Let's go. But it didn't happen. But yeah, I'd like to see more out of her a little bit. Like, she had a good fight with China White. China White did get on her a little bit. I was a little disappointed in that. But hopefully they incorporate her more. I just need to see a little more out of her a little bit. I know they're easing her in, so we'll see how she goes. What else was there? What else was there in this very much kind of a lot of reveals in this one episode? Felicity, I guess, going deeper into the dark. She basically, her and Dig are having conversations. Like, she tells Dig about the Pandora's cache. And Helix and all that, and he's like, yo, this is a weapon, right? And she's like, well, so what if it is? It's like, it's kind of how you use it is what defines what it can do. And she's like, she wants to when Thea wants to blackmail one of the counselors so that he'll vote for, not impeaching Ollie, she's like, does not bat an eyelid. She's like, all right, what's his name? Does not give a crap about it. And people are like, Felicity, you're meant to be the good one. You're meant to be the light of good. Like Dig said, like, your sort of superpower is empathy. Be able to be the good when be the light when all the darkness is around, sort of thing. And she like does not give a shit about what he said at all. Because turns out she's like, yeah, I'm going to go join Helix now. Gonna be interesting to see what they do with Helix. She's kind of reverting back to what she was before Oliver found her. Like, kind of what she was in college. She's going that way. She's very much like, look, if I'm going to fight fire, I want to fight fire with fire. the other guys do it, so I should get to do it too. And like everyone's like, yo, you know you get burnt when you fight fire with fire, right? And like all of them have. I mean, Dick's been to jail. Oliver is now public enemy number 1. Like, how much more does she need to like see that maybe it's not such a good idea to do this? But yet she still does it. It's like, Felicity, why? Why do you do this? And yeah, she's joined up with Helix now, with like Felicity number 2 going to meet her. That younger girl. I just call her Felicity too because they're exactly the same. And I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Obviously, she's gonna do hacktivist stuff, maybe. Maybe play 2 roles. Play the hacktivist and then play Overwatch as well. She's obviously gonna get caught out. They'll get caught out. Something bad will happen, and Oliver will have to save her again. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if she learns her lesson. Obviously, the Thea quitting the mayor's office was big. She obviously, with like I said, with all the dark side stuff she was doing, she kind of feels a bit lost. Like she's just becoming more and more like her dad, I think, and she's very scared about it. Like it took Ollie telling her like, so you're willing to destroy this guy's life? Like she was willing to blackmail one of the counselors about his wife killing herself by crashing her car on purpose, and the fact that he hit it and said that like it was an accident. He was going to blackmail him, to release it. And then obviously the stuff with Susan and all that, and he's like, what the hell's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And by the end of it, she's like, look, I gotta go. I gotta sort my life out a bit more. I need to calm myself down, I think was kind of the way they were going with that there. Which she does. I think she does. Whether they bring her back as Speedy or not, going to be interesting. I don't know how they'll bring it in. Speedy's important. Speedy's an important character, so hopefully she doesn't go too far. Obviously, they had this, Quentin was obviously a bit of a part in this, played a bit of a rock for Oliver. I still like the way his character's going. I'm glad he's back. And then obviously the flashback stuff with Anatoly and all the Bratva stuff. Basically, they're in the basement still, and Gregor's got Anatoly, pinned down, and he like calls this vote thing that the Bratva have. Like, if someone's calling out someone, they like have this meeting, and then basically guys vote if they agree with the person that declared it or the guy who's in charge of the Bratva. And whoever goes against the person that doesn't, like, whoever loses the vote essentially dies. So there you go. So that was like a desperation thing. And Ollie has to find evidence that Gregor is actually stealing from the Bratva, and he does. And then the vote goes against Gregor. That was pretty much it. It wasn't a big thing. Majority of this stuff was in the present. It was in the present this time. And I'm like I said, like the past few times, I'll be happy when this Bratva stuff is done with. I'm a little bored of that now. How about we move on? How about we move on from that stuff? Either send Ollie back to the island or do something else, because I'm a little tired of the Bratva thing now, I guess. I mean, I like Anatoly. I'm just a little tired of the Bratva things. So, that was really it. There was nothing else there. Wasn't that exciting. So, obviously, there is the Susan Williams stuff. She is really angry at Oliver at the start. She's just doing a blog thing, but obviously, like, no one's really paying attention to her because she was discredited. Oliver's still pissed at Thea and all that, and Felicity for that, and basically tells them, sort this shit out. Get it sorted. Make amends of this stuff, because I can't get a hold of her. She's not answering her phone. I can't talk to her. And literally tells them, sort this shit out. Enough of this crap. And basically what happens is Felicity like unhacks her. Like this anonymous hacker claims that they put all this stuff on it, made it the fake reports, and she gets a job back. She gets a job back, and she basically comes out and says, "Yeah, I know you're Green Arrow," and Oliver doesn't really deny it, because they sort of have this conversation in office. She's like, "You didn't know anything about this, right?" And she's like, "No, but when you did, you made it right." And he's like, "Yeah." So he's like, confirmed that he's the Green Arrow to her, so she knows. And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna keep your secret," which was a surprise to me. I thought she was gonna go the bad guy route. I really did. I thought she was playing Oliver the entire way, but she didn't. She ended up being just the girlfriend, really, just a reporter girlfriend. And I was shocked. I really was. I think because they tried to make her like this Lois Lane type character, where she's like this hard-nosed reporter that always digs the truth up sort of thing. She came across as a bad guy because she wasn't very good as that Lois Lane character. But okay. And then kind of what happens is Adrian basically comes to her in the car, and he's like, "Yo, I got this exclusive for you." And she's like, "Well, I'm kind of busy. I got to go to a dinner date." And he's like, "No, you're going to do this for me now, because it's kind of life or death." So kind of setting up this whole, I think either he's going to announce himself as Prometheus, or he's going to convince her, like, you were going to give an exclusive that Oliver is Green Arrow. I think it's going to have to do with Prometheus more than Green Arrow, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if she doesn't make it out of this alive. Because literally, like, if Prometheus wants to make Oliver hurt, she's a good way to do it right now. She's a good way. And they kind of do have to make way. If they are going to have a Black Canary Green Arrow relationship, she's got to go at some point. She has to go at some point. So they're either going to have to hide her, which means she's going to have to go away, or she's going to die. One of the two. So that was something. That was something. It was a little bit there at the end, a bit of a tease for next time. So Arrow's getting really good. I'm actually happy with the way Arrow is going. I really am. Some of the characters are developing well. Like I said a few weeks ago with Wild Dog, he's kind of maturing. Obviously, it's a bit sad that Ragman's not there right now. Now that Mr. Terrific is finally getting his T-spheres and we're going places with that, fantastic. And now Oliver taking this new sort of track with the Green Arrow being the bad guy. Well, it's not new, but you know, we've dealt with this type of thing before. Basically throwing Green Arrow under the bus was very interesting. And obviously the big reveal of Prometheus being the DA Adrian Chase. Interesting. Like I said, I have no big problems with him being. Like I said, and it's going to be interesting to see who Vigilante ends up being. You know, we all had him pegged as Vigilante. Wonder where they're going to go with that now. So is he going to become maybe like someone that we never expected? Maybe it's, you know, I think a few people are wondering if it's Captain Pike. A few people even put in as Talia. I don't think it's Talia's style, but to be honest, I don't think guns are her style. I think it's definitely someone with military fighting. The one thing I did notice when Dig and Vigilante were fighting, they fought the same way. They did the exact same thing at the exact same time. Something to think about there. Something to think about there. I was, It was very subtle. Very subtle, very quick. Could play into it later on. Could be someone related to Dig. Maybe. But yeah. No, I'm very happy with the way Arrow went this week. Especially after the collapse, really, of Flash. Last episode. So hopefully Flash can pick it up. I'm glad Green Arrow is kind of carrying the torch. The other two, Supergirl and Legends are doing fine. I'm happy with the way that those two are going right now. I'm just very disappointed in Flash. So I was glad Green Arrow kind of picked it up this week. Kind of carried really Flash over the line. Yeah. Obviously those big reveals did a lot. So hopefully they'll keep doing it. Hopefully they'll keep having some good episodes leading up to the season finale, which shouldn't be too far away. So just a quick thing for next week's sort of review reactional thing. I am going to be in Boston next week. I fly out on Thursday here, and I normally get Arrow on Thursday here. So it's all going to depend on if I can watch the actual episode. I won't be able to get it before I get on the plane. And then I've got an 18-hour multiple flights to Boston. And I won't get to see it. I won't. Because obviously I'll be a day later. I won't. It comes out on Wednesday in the States, and I don't get there till Thursday night. So it's all going to depend on if I can watch the episode or not, whether I can do next week's one. Hopefully I can. Otherwise, I'll just tweet some stuff. So keep an eye on my Twitter. Yeah, I'm there for PAX East. PAX East content and stuff will be going up next week too, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, just a bit of a quick heads up what's going to be going on. Hopefully I can. I will get Flash done before I leave, so that won't be a problem. Rebels is another one. Star Wars Rebels, not the next one, because I'll be able to do the next one because it's on Sunday. But the following one, hopefully I get the channel to watch it. I think it's XD over there that has it. So if I can watch it, I will. If I can't, then I'm sorry, guys. We're going to have to skip next week. But I will try my damnedest. Try and find Wi-Fi or something like that to, try and catch it somewhere. And I'll try and watch it. Like I said, I got to find a way to do it. And if I can, I will. And I'll be doing this from my hotel room in Boston. So be a change of venue next week, maybe. But yeah, so that's a bit of a heads up for you guys. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers, new viewers, all that stuff. Thank you very much, guys. Some really good views on a lot of the videos, so thank you. For me, anyway. I know not much seemed like much to many, but for me and for where we are right now with how new we are, I'm very happy with where it's going. So if you want to join us, hit that subscribe button. That way you guys will know when new stuff goes live. We got a new Flash reaction up. Like I've been saying, I was very disappointed in Flash, so head over there, go check that out. We got new gaming content. We got a review for Ghost Recon Wildlands. We checked out the open beta, kind of seeing if it's worth buying or not. So go check that out if you are thinking about buying that game. Thinking about doing Horizon Zero Dawn too, so keep an eye out for that. Just did a movie review for Logan, so go check that out as well. They'll be up on the channel pretty much right at the same time as I put this up. Just recorded them both around the same time, so get that editing done and I'll get them both up at the same time. So make sure you check those out too if you're interested in going and seeing Logan. See if you guys think it's a movie that you guys will want to watch. I liked it. Also check us out at twitch.tv/AverageKiwiGuy. We stream pretty much every weekday, so go check us out there. Hit that follow button, that way you'll know when we go live. And yeah, just Average Kiwi Guy on the socials, Twitter, all that, all Average Kiwi Guy, so makes it easy. And yeah. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch us next time. Peace.